First contact and rising tensions. The day humanity realized it wasn't alone in the universe began like any other. Dr. Elena Reeves sat at her workstation in the SETI Institute, sifting through the usual cosmic static when an anomalous signal caught her eye. Her heart raced as she double-checked the readings, triple-checked them, and then frantically called her colleagues. Within hours, the news spread like wildfire. Confirmation came from observatories around the globe. The signal was undeniably artificial and originating from a distant star system. Humanity held its collective breath as scientists worked tirelessly to decipher the message. Months passed, and the world watched in awe as the first clear images of an alien spacecraft approaching Earth were broadcast globally. The vessel, sleek and impossibly large, took up position in high orbit. World leaders scrambled to prepare for humanity's first extraterrestrial encounter. The aliens called themselves the Zarkian Collective. They appeared almost reptilian, with iridescent scales and piercing, multifaceted eyes. Their technology was centuries beyond Earth's, and they came with promises of sharing knowledge and resources. At first, the exchange seemed mutually beneficial. The Zarkians provided advancements in medicine, energy production, and space travel. Earth scientists worked alongside alien counterparts, making leaps in understanding the universe. For a brief moment, it seemed humanity had found its place among the stars. But as months turned to years, cracks began to form in the facade of cooperation. Sharp-eyed analysts noticed discrepancies in the shared technology. It became clear the Zarkians were holding back, providing Earth with only carefully curated knowledge. Dr. Reeves, now heading Earth's primary research team on Zarkian technology, voiced her concerns to the United Earth Council. "They're guiding our development," she warned. But towards what end? Her words proved prophetic. The Zarkians began making subtle demands: access to restricted areas, control over certain resource-rich regions, the right to establish permanent bases on Earth. When questioned, their responses grew increasingly evasive and, at times, hostile. Tensions reached a breaking point when a young hacker, Mahjong, breached Zarkian communication protocols. What she found chilled Earth to its core. The Zarkians weren't benevolent teachers. They were scouts for a vast, resource-hungry empire. Earth was to be their next conquest. The revelation sent shockwaves through human society. Protests erupted outside Zarkian embassies, and global leaders convened in emergency sessions. The aliens, realizing their cover was blown, dropped all pretense of friendship. In a chilling broadcast, the Zarkian ambassador delivered an ultimatum: submit to our rule or face annihilation. You have one Earth year to decide. As the Zarkian ship retreated to the edge of the solar system, humanity faced its greatest challenge. How could they hope to stand against a technologically superior foe? The answer came from an unlikely source. General Feng Lai, a decorated veteran and strategic genius, proposed a daring plan. "We've been studying their tech for years," he said, addressing the United Earth Council. "It's time we use that knowledge against them." Under Lai's guidance, a global initiative was launched. Every nation pooled its resources, setting aside old rivalries in the face of extinction. Scientists and engineers worked around the clock, reverse engineering Zarkian technology and combining it with humanity's unique innovations. Dr. Reeves led the charge in weapons development. Her team created a revolutionary shield system, capable of withstanding the Zarkians' energy weapons. Meanwhile, Mahjong headed a global cybersecurity task force, developing countermeasures against alien hacking attempts. As the deadline approached, Earth transformed. Massive defense platforms were constructed in orbit, hidden beneath stealth fields reverse-engineered from Zarkian tech. Underground bunkers were built to house civilian populations, and a new generation of spacecraft, hybrids of human ingenuity and alien science, were readied for battle. The day before the ultimatum expired, General Lai addressed the world. His words were broadcast to every corner of the globe, a rallying cry for humanity. "Tomorrow, we face our greatest test. The Zarkians believe us weak, divided, easy prey for their empire. They're wrong. In 1 year, we've achieved what they never thought possible. We've taken their technology and made it our own. We've united as a species, setting aside our differences to face a common threat. They expect us to submit or perish. Instead, we will show them the true strength of humanity. We will fight, not just for our survival, but for our right to forge our own destiny among the stars. When humans go to war, we fight with everything we have. And tomorrow, we go to war. As Lai's words faded, a tense calm settled over Earth. In homes, bunkers, and military bases, humans prepared for the coming storm. Parents hugged their children tight, soldiers checked their gear one last time, and scientists made final adjustments to their creations. In orbit, the crews of Earth's new warships stood at the ready, their vessels hidden from Zarkian sensors. On the ground, gunners manned powerful energy cannons, while squadrons of advanced fighters waited in underground hangars. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, humanity stood united, ready to fight for its future. The Zarkians were about to learn a harsh lesson. When pushed to the brink, humans don't just survive, they thrive. The war for Earth was about to begin, and humanity would show the galaxy why you should never underestimate the tenacity, creativity, and sheer determination of the human spirit. The galactic threat emerges. The Zarkian ultimatum expired with the rising sun. As the first rays of light touched Earth's defense platforms, the alien armada emerged from hyperspace. Their ships, vast and numerous, filled the sky with ominous shadows. Aboard the UES Defiant, Earth's flagship, Admiral Sarah Chen watched the enemy fleet materialize on tactical displays. Her voice was steady as she opened a channel to all Earth forces. "This is Admiral Chen. Battle stations. Engage stealth systems and await my command." Across the solar system, humanity's defenders readied themselves. On Mars, Colonel Dmitry Volkov and his team activated the planet's defense grid, a network of powerful railguns and energy projectors hidden beneath the red sands. In the asteroid belt, Captain Amelia Rodriguez and her squadron of stealth fighters took up ambush positions. The Zarkian fleet, confident in their superiority, moved into attack formation. Their command ship, a behemoth dwarfing even their largest warships, took position at the center of the formation. A transmission crackled across all frequencies, the alien commander's voice dripping with disdain. "Humans of Earth, your time has expired. Surrender now, and we may yet show mercy. Resist, and we will reduce your world to ash." Admiral Chen's response was simple. Now. In an instant, Earth's invisible defense grid came to life. Massive energy beams lanced out from orbital platforms, punching through Zarkian shields as if they were paper. Humanity's new weapons, born from a fusion of stolen alien tech and human innovation, caught the invaders completely off guard. Chaos erupted among the alien fleet as ships exploded or listed powerlessly, their systems overloaded by weapons they had never anticipated. From the asteroid belt, Captain Rodriguez's fighters streaked into battle, their hybrid engines leaving trails of blue fire against the void. On Earth, General Lee coordinated the ground defense. As Zarkian dropships attempted to breach the atmosphere, they were met with a hail of fire from surface-to-space cannons. Those that made it through faced squadrons of Earth's new aerospace fighters, piloted by the best the planet had to offer. The battle raged for hours, the void lit by the fires of destroyed ships and the flash of energy weapons. Humanity fought with a ferocity that shocked the Zarkians. Every inch of space was contested, every advantage exploited. But the aliens were not easily defeated. As the initial shock wore off, they began to adapt. Their superior numbers started to tell, and Earth's defenders found themselves slowly pushed back. In her lab deep beneath the Himalayas, Dr. Reeves worked feverishly. The battle above had revealed weaknesses in Earth's defenses, and she was determined to find a solution. Surrounded by holographic displays showing the ongoing fight, She and her team pushed the boundaries of physics and engineering. Meanwhile, Maizong and her cyber warfare team engaged in a silent but crucial battle. They had infiltrated the Zarkian battle network, feeding false information and disrupting communications. But the alien eye was learning, evolving, threatening to lock them out. As the fight wore on, Earth's leaders gathered in the United Earth Council's secure bunker. Reports from the front lines painted a grim picture. Despite their initial success, humanity was outnumbered and outgunned. They needed a game changer. It came in the form of an urgent message from Dr. Reeves. "We've done it," her hologram announced to the council. "We've found a way to overload their main power systems, but we'll need to get close. Too close." General Lai leaned forward, his eyes sharp. "What are you proposing, Doctor?" The battle for Sol. 5 years had passed since humanity's desperate victory against the Zarkian invasion. Earth had changed dramatically, transformed by the crucible of war and the influx of alien technology. Towering arcologies reached for the sky, their surfaces gleaming with energy shields. Orbiting stations formed a protective ring around the planet, bristling with weapons and sensors. But the biggest changes were beyond Earth. Mars, once a desolate red planet, now teemed with life. Massive biodomes housed millions, while shipyards in orbit churned out vessels for humanity's growing fleet. The asteroid belt had become a fortress, each spinning rock a hidden base or weapons platform. Admiral Sarah Chen, now Supreme Commander of Earth's Defense Forces, stood on the bridge of the UES Nemesis, humanity's most advanced warship. She gazed at the holographic display of the solar system, her eyes sharp as she assessed their defenses. "Status report," she ordered, her voice calm but authoritative. Her XO, Commander Raj Patel, stepped forward. "All systems nominal, Admiral. The Jovian defense grid is online, and the Kuiper Belt early warning network is fully operational. We're as ready as we'll ever be." Chen nodded, a grim smile on her face. "Let's hope it's enough. The Zarkians won't underestimate us this time." As if on cue, alarms blared across the ship. Lieutenant Zhou Wang, the sensor officer, called out, "Multiple hyperspace signatures detected." "It's them, Admiral. They're back." The holo display erupted with red icons as the Zarkian armada poured into the solar system. It dwarfed their previous invasion force, a vast swarm of ships that seemed to blot out the stars themselves. Chen's voice was steady as she opened a channel to all Earth forces. "This is Admiral Chen. Battle Plan Omega is now in effect. All units to your designated positions. Today, we fight not just for Earth, but for the freedom of every species in this galaxy. Show them what humanity is made of." Across the solar system, humanity's defenders sprang into action. On Mars, General Dmitry Volkov activated the planet's planetary shield, a shimmering bubble of energy enveloping the red planet. In the asteroid belt, Captain Amelia Rodriguez and her stealth fighter squadrons moved into ambush positions. The Zarkian fleet advanced, their formation splitting into 3 prongs. The largest force headed straight for Earth, while smaller but still formidable fleets moved towards Mars and Jupiter. Admiral Chen's mind raced as she analyzed their strategy. "They're trying to divide our forces," she muttered. Then, louder, "All ships, execute maneuver Theta 3. Let's show them our new tricks." At her command, Earth's fleet seemed to dissolve into chaos. Ships scattered in all directions, apparently in disarray. The Zarkians, sensing weakness, pressed their attack. It was exactly what Chen had planned for. As the alien ships closed in, humanity's true defense grid activated. Hundreds of stealth platforms, hidden in the void between planets, powered up. Gravitational lensing devices, developed from technology shared by Earth's new allies, bent space itself around the Zarkian ships. Suddenly, the invaders found themselves trapped in bubbles of warped spacetime. Their weapons fire dissipated harmlessly, while their shields flickered and failed under the strain. Chen's voice rang out. All ships, concentrate fire on the trapped enemy vessels. Take them out. Earth's fleet reformed with practiced precision, unleashing a devastating barrage. Zarkian ships exploded by the dozens, unable to maneuver or defend themselves. But the aliens were not so easily defeated. Their command ship, a behemoth that dwarfed even their largest dreadnoughts, pushed through the gravity traps through sheer power, its main cannon charging, preparing to unleash devastation on Earth. In her lab on Titan, Dr. Elena Reeves watched the battle unfold with growing concern. "The gravity traps won't hold them forever," she muttered to her team. "We need to buy more time." Her eyes fell on an experimental device in the corner of the lab, a project they'd been working on in secret. It was risky, untested, but it might be their only hope. "Get me Admiral Chen," Reeves ordered. "I have an idea." As the battle raged across the solar system, Chen received Reeves' transmission. The scientist's plan was audacious, borderline insane, but it just might work. "Do it," Chen ordered. "Whatever you need, you've got it." On Titan, Reeves and her team sprang into action. They activated their device, a massive array of quantum entanglement generators. The plan was to create a temporary wormhole, redirecting the Zarkian flagship's energy blast back on itself. As the alien command ship prepared to fire, reality itself seemed to warp around it. The massive energy beam lashed out, only to vanish into a swirling vortex of space-time. Moments later, it reappeared behind the Zarkian vessel, striking it with devastating force. The alien flagship reeled, its shields failing catastrophically. Chen saw their chance. "All ships, concentrate fire on their command ship. This is our moment." Earth's fleet unleashed everything they had. Plasma torpedoes, graviton beams, and weaponry beyond human imagination only years ago now pounded the Zarkian flagship. Under the combined assault, the massive ship began to break apart. As their command ship died, the Zarkian fleet fell into disarray. Cut off from central command, individual ship captains began making desperate, uncoordinated attacks. It was the opening Earth needed. Chen's voice rang out across the comms. "Push them back. For Earth, for Mars, for all of humanity." The tide of battle turned. Earth ships, more maneuverable and now more advanced than their Zarkian counterparts, pressed their advantage. The alien fleet, once seemingly invincible, began to crumble. In the asteroid belt, Captain Rodriguez led her fighters in daring attack runs, using the rocky terrain to outmaneuver larger Zarkian ships. On Mars, General Volkov coordinated a counterattack, Martian defense platforms launching salvos that caught the aliens in a deadly crossfire. Hours passed, the battle raging across the entire solar system. But slowly, inevitably, humanity gained the upper hand. Zarkian ships retreated in growing numbers, jumping to hyperspace to escape the fury of Earth's defenders. As the last enemy ships fled, a cheer went up across every human vessel and colony. They had done it. They had faced the full might of the Zarkian Empire and emerged victorious. On the bridge of the Nemesis, Admiral Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Stand down from battle stations," she ordered. "Begin rescue and recovery operations." As the adrenaline of battle faded, the true scale of their victory became clear. The Zarkian Empire, once the dominant power in the galaxy, had been dealt a blow from which it might never recover. But Chen knew the war was far from over. As she looked out at the starfield, dotted with the debris of battle, she couldn't help but wonder, what next? Earth had proven itself a force to be reckoned with, but at what cost? And what role would humanity play in the galaxy now that they had defeated its greatest tyrants? As repair ships moved among the battered Earth fleet, and messages of congratulation poured in from across human space, Chen made a decision. It was time for humanity to step onto the galactic stage fully, not as conquerors, like the Zarkians, but as protectors. "Get me the Council," she ordered. "It's time we discussed the future. The galaxy needs us, and we have a responsibility to answer that call." As the Nemesis turned towards Earth, Chen couldn't help but feel a mix of pride and apprehension. Humanity had survived its trial by fire. Now, the real work would begin. The stars awaited, and humanity was ready to rise to the challenge. The battle for Sol was over. The battle for the galaxy's future was about to begin. Counterattack and discovery. The galactic landscape had shifted dramatically in the years following humanity's victory in the battle for Sol. Earth, once an isolated world on the fringes of known space, now stood as a beacon of hope for oppressed species across the galaxy. The defeat of the Zarkian Armada had sent shockwaves through the cosmos, inspiring rebellions and uprisings on countless worlds under alien dominion. Admiral Sarah Chen, now serving as Earth's representative to the newly formed Galactic Alliance, stood before a holographic map of known space. The room around her buzzed with activity as representatives from a dozen species discussed strategy and shared intelligence. "The Zarkians are on the run," Chen began, her voice cutting through the chatter. "But they're far from defeated. Our latest intelligence suggests they're regrouping in the Andromeda Arm, possibly preparing for a final desperate assault." Caxlith, a towering insectoid being and leader of the Hive Collective, chittered in agreement. "Our scout ships have detected increased Zarkian activity in that sector. They appear to be constructing something massive." Chen's eyes narrowed. "A super weapon." "Unknown," Caxlith replied. "But whatever it is, it cannot be good for any of us." The decision was unanimous. The Galactic Alliance would launch a preemptive strike against the Zarkian stronghold. Humanity, with its proven track record against the alien empire, would lead the charge. Aboard the UES Prometheus, Earth's most advanced exploratory vessel, Dr. Elena Reeves pored over data streaming in from long-range sensors. The ship, a marvel of human ingenuity and alien technology, was tasked with penetrating deep into Zarkian space to gather crucial intelligence. "Captain," Reeves called out, her voice tense, "I'm detecting some unusual energy readings from the third planet in the Omega Centauri system." Captain Miguel Cortez, a veteran of the Sol campaign, leaned over her console. "Unusual how, Doctor?" Reeves' fingers flew over the holographic interface. "It's like nothing we've ever seen before. The energy signature doesn't match any known Zarkian technology. In fact, it doesn't match anything in our database." Cortez's brow furrowed. "Could it be their super weapon?" "Possibly," Reeves replied. "But there's something else. These readings, they're similar to artifacts we've discovered from ancient, long-extinct civilizations. Captain, I think we might be dealing with something far older than the Zarkians." The implications were staggering. Had the Zarkians discovered some ancient, powerful technology? Or were they merely pawns in a game that had been unfolding for millennia? As the Prometheus cautiously approached the mysterious planet, the full might of the Galactic Alliance fleet assembled at the edge of Zarkian space. Admiral Chen, commanding from the bridge of the UES Nemesis, gave the order to advance. The battle that followed was unlike anything humanity had faced before. The Zarkians fought with the desperation of a cornered animal, unleashing weapons and tactics they had held in reserve. But the Alliance fleet, a testament to the combined ingenuity of a dozen species, pressed forward. Meanwhile, on the surface of the enigmatic planet, Captain Cortez led a small team into what appeared to be an ancient alien structure. Dr. Reeves, her eyes wide with wonder and trepidation, scanned the massive archways and pulsing energy conduits. "This technology," she breathed, "it's incredible. I think this might be a gateway of some kind." Before Cortez could respond, a holographic image flickered to life before them. It showed a being unlike any they had encountered, ethereal, almost energy-like in its appearance. "Greetings, children of the younger races," the being spoke, its voice resonating in their minds rather than their ears. "You have done well to come this far." Cortez stepped forward, his hand instinctively near his weapon. "Who are you? What is this place?" The being's form shifted, showing glimpses of stars and galaxies within its translucent body. We are the precursors, the first sentient beings to arise in this galaxy. This is our legacy. A network of gateways spanning the cosmos, allowing instantaneous travel between galaxies. Reeves gasped. The Zarkians. They've been using your technology. Abusing it, the precursor corrected. They discovered one of our gateways and sought to use it for conquest, but they understand little of its true purpose or potential. As the team absorbed this revelation, Admiral Chen's voice crackled over their comms. Cortez, we've broken through the Zarkian lines, but they're falling back to your position. Whatever you found down there, they're willing to sacrifice everything to keep it. The precursor's form flickered. The gateway must not fall into their hands. The power it contains could unravel the very fabric of spacetime if misused. Cortez looked at his team, then back at the ethereal being. How do we stop them? You must activate the gateway's defense protocols, the precursor explained. But be warned. Doing so will seal off this sector of space for millennia. Your people will be cut off from a significant portion of the galaxy. It was an impossible choice. Seal off the gateway and potentially cripple humanity's expansion into the stars, or risk the Zarkians gaining a power that could enslave the entire universe. As explosions rocked the ancient structure, Cortez made his decision. Dr. Reeves, activate those protocols. We didn't come this far to let the Zarkians win now. Reeves nodded, her fingers dancing over the alien controls as the precursor guided her. Energy surged through the structure, and a shimmering barrier began to form around the planet. In orbit, Admiral Chen watched in awe as a wave of energy expanded outward, engulfing not just the planet but entire star systems. Zarkian ships caught in its path simply vanished, while Alliance vessels remained unaffected. Cortez, what's happening down there? Chen demanded. The captain's voice was somber as he replied. We've activated some kind of quarantine field, Admiral. The Zarkians won't be able to use this technology, but neither will we. A large section of the galaxy is now off-limits. As the energy wave dissipated, the full impact of their actions became clear. The Zarkian threat had been neutralized, but at a great cost. Humanity and its allies now faced a galaxy partially closed off to them, full of mysteries they might not unravel for generations. Back on the Nemesis, Admiral Chen addressed the Alliance fleet. Today, we've won more than a battle. We've secured the future of not just our own species, but of all free peoples in the galaxy. The road ahead may be longer and more challenging than we anticipated, but we will face it together. As the Alliance fleet regrouped, preparing for the long journey home, Chen couldn't help but feel a mix of triumph and trepidation. They had defeated the Zarkians and uncovered secrets beyond their wildest imaginations. But the galaxy, it seemed, still held many mysteries. The war was over, but humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. The stars called, and Earth would answer, not as conquerors, but as explorers, peacekeepers, and guardians of a legacy beyond their comprehension. As the Prometheus rejoined the fleet, its crew forever changed by what they had witnessed, Captain Cortez turned to Dr. Reeves. So, Doctor, he said with a wry smile, ready to rewrite every history book on Earth. Reeves laughed, the weight of their discovery glinting in her eyes. Captain, I have a feeling we've only read the preface. The real story is still out there, waiting for us. And with that, the fleet jumped to hyperspace, leaving behind a changed galaxy and carrying with them the hopes and dreams of countless worlds. Humanity had gone to war and emerged victorious. Now, they would go to the stars and carve out their destiny among the cosmos. The final push and new horizons. A decade had passed since the activation of the precursor gateway and the quarantine of a significant portion of the galaxy. Earth and its allies in the Galactic Alliance had used this time to consolidate their gains, rebuild their fleets, and push the boundaries of their understanding of the universe. Admiral Sarah Chen, now in her 60s but still sharp as ever, stood before the United Earth Council and representatives from a dozen alien species. The chamber, located in the heart of the massive space station, Unity orbiting Earth, hummed with anticipation. "Ladies, gentlemen, and honored allies," Chen began, her voice carrying the weight of years of command. "Long-range sensors have detected Zarkian activity at the edge of the quarantine zone. It appears they found a way to pierce the barrier." A murmur of concern rippled through the assembly. Arxis, the crystalline ambassador of the Lumina Collective, chimed in, their body pulsing with worried light. "How is this possible? The precursor technology was supposed to be impenetrable." Dr. Elena Reeves, now head of the Galactic Science Initiative, stepped forward. "The Zarkians have had a decade to study the barrier from their side. It seems they've managed to create localized holes in the field. Small, but large enough for ships to pass through." Chen nodded grimly. "Which means we're looking at a potential invasion force. But this time, we'll be ready for them." The plan was audacious. The Alliance would mount a preemptive strike, pushing through the Zarkian-created openings and taking the fight to the enemy's home territory. It would be the largest military operation in the history of the galaxy. Preparations began immediately. On Earth and a dozen other worlds, shipyards worked around the clock, producing vessels that merged the best of each species' technology. Weapons platforms were established at strategic points along the barrier's edge, ready to repel any Zarkian incursion. Aboard the UES Prometheus, now the flagship of humanity's exploratory fleet, Captain Miguel Cortez reviewed mission parameters with his crew. Their job was to lead the vanguard, pushing through the barrier and gathering critical intelligence on Zarkian defenses. Dr. Reeves, insisting on joining the mission despite her elevated position, worked tirelessly in the ship's lab. "If we can understand how they've manipulated the barrier," she explained to Cortez, "we might be able to seal it permanently or even control it ourselves." As the Alliance fleet assembled, a tense quiet fell over the galaxy. Everyone knew that the coming battle would decide the fate of not just their own species, but of all sentient life for generations to come. Admiral Chen's voice crackled over the comms, addressing the combined fleet. "Today, we fight not just for our homes, our families, or our species. We fight for the very concept of freedom in this galaxy. The Zarkians sought to enslave us all. Today, we show them the power of unity, of diverse peoples coming together for a common cause. Today, we end this war once and for all." With that, the fleet surged forward. The Prometheus, leading the charge, approached the first rupture in the barrier. As they passed through, reality itself seemed to warp and twist around them. On the other side, chaos reigned. The Zarkians, caught off guard by the speed and audacity of the attack, scrambled to mount a defense. But years of isolation had left them complacent, their technology stagnant compared to the rapid advancements of the Alliance. Battles raged across multiple star systems as the Alliance pushed deeper into Zarkian territory. The Prometheus, darting between engagements, gathered crucial data on enemy positions and defenses. In the ship's lab, Dr. Reeves made a startling discovery. "Captain," she called out, her voice tight with excitement, "I've analyzed the barrier ruptures. They're not just holes. They're more like doors. Two-way passages." Cortez's eyes widened as he grasped the implications. "You mean we could control who goes in and out?" Reeves nodded. "Exactly. If we can replicate the Zarkian method, we could essentially become the gatekeepers of this part of the galaxy." The information was quickly relayed to Admiral Chen. With this knowledge, the Alliance changed tactics. Instead of merely pushing the Zarkians back, they began targeting the devices creating the ruptures, seizing control of the passages one by one. The tide of battle turned decisively. Zarkian forces, cut off from reinforcements and supplies, began to surrender en masse. Their leaders, seeing the writing on the wall, sent out desperate pleas for negotiation. After months of intense fighting, Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of the Nemesis, watching as the Zarkian High Command shuttle approached for peace talks. It was a moment she had dreamed of for years, yet now felt almost anticlimactic. The peace conference, held on neutral ground in a hastily constructed space station, lasted for weeks. The Zarkians, their empire in tatters, had little choice but to accept the alliance's terms. Their military was to be disbanded, their conquered worlds freed, and their leadership to stand trial for war crimes. As the final documents were signed, a cheer went up across the galaxy. The war that had defined a generation was finally, truly over. In the aftermath, the galaxy entered a new era of exploration and cooperation. The Galactic Alliance, with humanity playing a key role, took on the responsibility of maintaining the precursor barrier and regulating travel through the controlled ruptures. Dr. Reeves and her team continued to study the precursor technology, making new breakthroughs that promised to revolutionize travel and communication across the cosmos. Captain Cortez and the Prometheus led missions deep into uncharted space, discovering wonders beyond imagination. And Admiral Chen, her job finally done, retired to a small colony world on the edge of human space. There, she wrote her memoirs and watched as the civilization she had fought so hard to protect flourished among the stars. Years later, as she sat on her porch watching two alien suns set, a young reporter asked her to reflect on humanity's journey. Chen smiled, her eyes distant with memory. "We went to war because we had to," she said. "We won because we learned to stand together. But our greatest victory, that came after the fighting stopped. We proved that humanity's true strength lies not in our ability to wage war, but in our capacity for peace, for innovation, for bringing out the best in ourselves and others." As night fell and unfamiliar stars twinkled overhead, Chen raised a glass to the sky, to the fallen, to the survivors, and to the countless beings across the galaxy now living in freedom. When humans had gone to war, they had changed the fate of the cosmos. And now, in peace, they were helping to guide it towards a brighter future. The galaxy, vast and full of wonders, awaited. And humanity, tempered by war, but driven by an unquenchable spirit of exploration and cooperation, was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The greatest adventure, it seemed, was just beginning.